Hey everyone, this is Rousador's Pokemon Shenanigans, and we once again find ourselves in the illustrious era of Retro. You might take a look at this and think, wouldn't Wigglytuff be harder to play as? And while Puff Jig is the first form, but before baby Pokemon were born, Jiggles has a pretty significant advantage over Wigglytuff. Now, Jigglypuff gets level up moves, while Wigglytuff is stuck with what we see on screen here, and that's going to be straight up awful for the first gym. Sing has 55 accuracy, as does Disable, and in Gen 1, it just picks a random move to take away. Defense Curl is useful, but Double Slap? 10 power points, 85 accuracy, 15 base power. It's bad Fury attack. Now there's something I never thought I'd say. Those are the only tools at our disposal to overcome Brock. Can't wait to fight his rock Pokemon with a move that misses 15% of the time, and it's a move his team resists. But Double Slap, along with other multi-hit moves in Generation 1, are a little bit more solid. Say the first hit of Double Slap crits, every subsequent hit will crit, and let's be honest, we're gonna need that luck. Either way, we'll for sure eventually have to resort to Struggle to defeat him, which is also normal type in Generation 1. Against Brock, we're gonna be playing some serious slaughter. I might go buy a scratch-off ticket after this. While Jigglypuff has worse stats, the fact it can learn moves via level up not only makes Brock easier, but we have a bit of wiggle room with our move slots, and for a fully evolved Pokemon with this base stat total, we have awesome HP, decent attack, and that's about it. Don't forget in Generation 1, special attack and defense are 1, and our special's 50. I think after Brock will be okay for a bit, but I can see us having quite a bit of trouble from Koga onward. But we do have a significant strength in our corner, one that Wigglytuff shares with its previous form. We have some seriously awesome variety and coverage here. But since we're playing as a Pokemon that evolves via Stone, this is our moveset. We can get Mega Punch and Water Gun, yeah, that was a TM back in Caveman years, and Mount Moon, and the TM for Body Slam is on the SSN, also Caveman years. Considering that we get the same type attack bonus from both Mega Punch and Body Slam, they're both going to be very useful. In fact, the latter might be our best move, at least until the Elite Four. And while we have a ton of TMs to choose from, we had to be even more careful than usual. In addition to learning 0 moves via level up, TMs before Gen 5 were a one-and-done deal. For a mon like this, we had to be absolutely certain that we're committed to using the move. Also, just want to throw it out there, yeah, Wigglytuff is stronger than Jigglypuff. That's the whole point of evolutions, your mon growing and becoming more powerful. But in an instance like this, being stronger isn't always better, you know? And as we prepare for the Rock Gym, well, it's going to be pretty hard to recap this blow by blow considering the moveset at our disposal. The strategy is simple in concept, right? Put Geodude to sleep, bulk up with Defense Curl, disable Tackle so that Geodude will have to attack us with Struggle, which will also help us out via the recoil. Well, there's a bit of a problem with that too. Inexplicably, here in Pokemon Red, Blue, and Yellow, and I think Green as well, I didn't play that, but whatever, Geodude and Onix each have 5 full heals dedicated to them. Like, that's a little overkill, don't you think? And of course, Sing misses half the time. It has coin flip accuracy, so when we do get to put Geodude to sleep, Brock will use a full heal. And judging by the damage, although Geodude is critting way more than it should considering its low base speed, Defense Curl is really going to come in handy because we're taking quite a bit of damage, and with 6 Defense Curls, even with our low defense, we're going to be relatively tanky here. Now, of course, this attempt is a failure, but you can see on screen now that Geodude using Struggle does make a bit of a difference here. It's kind of funny to think that with Wigglytuff, this would actually be a little bit harder in Red and Blue because Geodude in that game has Defense Curl, and in this game, it only has Tackle because it's 2 levels lower. But you'll see that when things do go our way for the most part, that we can get very close to beating Brock at this level and with this strategy. The alternative would be to overlevel and just struggle to victory, and I think that would be kind of boring. I mean, having to rely on luck this much is also not that much fun, but at least the battle is still kind of exciting, if that makes sense. Well, that, and I don't feel like hunting down a Metapod and going through 100-ish turns just to gain access to Struggle. And because Onix outspeeds us, Bide and Bind are extremely annoying, especially Bind because it stun locks in Generation 1. Many attempts on this fight were lost thanks to that. And we really do need a decent amount of luck against Geodude because of not only Bide and Bind, Onix can and will attack, By the time we fight Onyx, we will eventually be using Struggle, so we're going to need enough health to tank some hits, which is what Defense Curl is for. And we have to be able to endure the recoil damage from Struggle. And granted, the recoil isn't great because the damage we're dealing isn't great, but because it chips away at our health against something that can attack us every turn. Yeah, that's a bad. One advantage we do have is that with Onyx outspeeding us, if we do connect with Sing, that means that Brock won't attack, he'll use a full heal, allowing us to maybe hit with Double Slap. And of course, we don't want to get hit by Screech. Another reason why we need Defense Curl. Screech drops our defense by 2 stages. With +6 to our defense, that's not so bad at least once. But yeah, you see it on screen. With luck lining up just right, we can get by this fight at level 13. This took me about an hour. That was with the help of Speed Up too. Now, fortunately, we do have a bit of breathing room going forward. Once again, in Mount Moon, we can get the TM for Mega Punch and for Water Gun. That's going to help us out tremendously. We have a special attack for some coverage to deal with rock types going forward. And Mega Punch gets the same type attack bonus. It does miss 15% of the time, but it's a substantial upgrade from Double Slap. It has more power points, too. We have a fairly decent matchup against both major battles here in Cerulean City, but I'm thinking we're going to go for Rival 2 first. I am a bit concerned about Misty Starmie, so here we go. Rival 2, let's go. The Rival leads off with Spearow and Fury Attack, and doesn't do all that much. Mega Punch, on the other hand, does all of the damage. Water Gun deals great damage to Sandshrew. We get hit by Sand Attack, miss Water Gun. Well, with our accuracy down by 2 stages, we'll set up 2 Defense Curls because we want to be able to tank some hits. Thankfully, Water Gun does hit here. Bye-bye, Sandshrew. Rattata crits us with Tackle. Bypassing the Defense Curls, we miss Mega Punch. Turn 2, Rattata misses with Tail Whip, and we do connect with Mega Punch. Easy one-shot. And last up is the Rival's Eevee. Not really going to be a big deal because 1 Mega Punch, man, and it's done. Now, we'll circle back on over to Misty's gym and take out the optional trainers before we fight her. Now, one thing I have to bring up is that Wigglytuff and Jigglypuff, as the name implies, we level up pretty darn fast. I find that to be very useful because we don't have to go that far out of our way to grind. If we do need to level up, we're going to level up pretty quickly, so we don't have to fight too many optional trainers. That said, I probably will fight the trainers above Nugget Bridge, just because I'd like to be a decent level for Lieutenant Surge's Raichu, which is level 28 here in Pokemon Yellow. But before we can start talking about Lieutenant Surge, we do have to defeat Misty, because her badge allows us to use Cut outside of battle, so here we go. And with Staryu, we're going to play the Sing coin flip game, and we take a fair bit of damage. We're down to 40 hit points by the time Sing connects. And once Staryu is asleep, we're going to set up some Defense Curls. Not only will their tackles deal less damage, but with how Generation 1 is programmed, Defense Curl, now that we have the Boulder Badge, will also boost our attack by 12.5 each time we use it. But even with what we've set up, Staryu not being a one-shot doesn't bode well for us. And as Starmie comes out, goes for Tackle. Wow, that was cool. Mega Punch is going to be a 2-shot. We survive Bubble Beam, and Mega Punch does connect, making Misty a relatively easy first try. Now, going forward, we can make a beeline straight for the SSN and get TM08 for Body Slam. There's also another TM north of Nugget Bridge. There's actually 2 that are pretty useful, although we're only going to be making use of one of them for this run. Now, Body Slam and Mega Punch have the exact same base power, but Body Slam has 100 accuracy, and it has a 1 in 3 chance to cause paralysis. Speaking of paralysis, TM45 for Thunder Wave can also be found north of Nugget Bridge. I'm not sure how long we'll keep that, but we're definitely going to be using it for Lieutenant Surge's gym. And considering that the Rivals team has barely leveled up, and we've leveled up a fair bit since last time, thanks Fast Level Up Group, I suspect we're going to have a one-shot streak coming up. And yeah, obviously Spearow is going to be a one-shot. Next up is Rattata, and Body Slam obviously will one-shot. Quick Attack does very little damage. Rattata has the lowest defense on this entire team, so if we one-shot Spearow, we're one-shotting Rattata. Next up is going to be Sandshrew. I haven't taught Bubble Beam just yet, and we're not going to really need it for this fight because, as you see, 1 Water Gun, down goes Sandshrew. Last up is our Rival's Eevee, and just like in the fight beforehand, 1 same type attack bonus attack later, and it's done. Now, just a moment ago, you heard me say that we're going to use Thunder Wave against Lieutenant Surge's team, which is 1 Raichu. This wouldn't be possible by today's Pokemon standards, but here in the days of caveman Pokemon, Thunder Wave does in fact work on electric types. I say that because Raichu is way faster, goes for Mega Kick, and without a critical hit, that does a lot of damage. With Thunder Wave, however, now we are faster. Turn 2, we go for a Body Slam, and Raichu growls. Alright. Even with that attack drop, we are able to deal enough damage to finish off the Raichu. That might have looked easy, but Raichu easily could have won that fight with a critical hit, or if it had gone for Thunderbolt instead. We needed to be faster. And as for Giovanni, well, we have Bubble Beam, so the Onix is going to be a one-shot, and the Rhyhorn is going to be a one-shot. Persian isn't quite a one-shot with Body Slam, but doesn't really matter, just wastes time going for Screech, and we're able to two-shot it with relative ease. We took like 4 damage that fight, I think. Now, because I'm lazy and haven't caught a Pokemon for Fly just yet, we're gonna beeline our way back on over to Lavender Town and take out the rival. Once we clear out the tower here, we can advance with the second half of the game. He leads off with Fearow, and we're gonna go for Bubble Beam because he's gonna go for Mirror Move, and Mirror Moving Bubble Beam is way better than mirroring same type Body Slam. A new addition to our rivals team, Shelter, has pretty good defense, but we're a bit over-leveled, and Body Slam is still a one-shot. Vulpix is next, 1 Bubble Beam, very easy one-shot. Level 20 Sandshrew, no match for Bubble Beam. Out comes Evian. Boy, that's awfully familiar. You guys ever get the sensation of deja vu? Well, it's probably nothing. So we'll go ahead and clear out the tower here, circle back to Celadon, and get the TM for Ice Beam, all that good stuff, and then we're gonna go fight Erica with Ice Beam. She's gonna be super, super easy. I don't know if they're gonna be one-shots though, so I guess we'll find out. Out comes Tangela, and yeah, if we're not one-shotting Tangela, these are gonna be at minimum 2 shots. After a 3-turn bind, the follow-up Ice Beam takes it down. Out comes Weepinbell, we deal great damage with Ice Beam, and wow, that Razor Leaf crit did like nothing. I figured we would take more damage than that. Out comes Gloom, we deal a lot of damage, Acid drops our defense, but doesn't matter because the follow-up finishes off Gloom and wins us the 4th badge. Well, we're gonna go try fighting Koga, despite the fact that we are very underleveled for his gym. Against Venonat, we paralyze with Body Slam and it misses Sleep Powder, that's huge, so the first one goes down. Venonat number 2 we outspeed and unfortunately get blasted by Toxic, so the clock's ticking. As we finish off Venonat number 2, Venonat number 3 comes out and it is faster than we are. Unfortunately, no paralysis off Body Slam, so we have to eat 2 Psychics before Koga's final Pokemon, Venomoth, comes out. It goes for Double Team. I go for Ice Beam hoping for a Lucky Freeze, but no dice. We get hit by Psychic and our special drops, and Body Slam does pretty good damage. Thankfully, Venomoth goes for Leech Life, and we do not miss with Body Slam, winning us in what has to be a serious upset here. We were super underleveled for this gym. Well, we've got ourselves a nice little streak going here, so we're going to circle on over to Silph Co and try our luck against rival number 5. Will our undefeated streak continue? Undefeated after Brock, that is. Or will we fall here? Let's find out. I'm surprised that we're faster than Sand Slash. Ice Beam's almost a one-shot. Swift deals just under 30 damage, and we can finish it off with a Bubble Beam. Ninetales crits us with Ember, we deal awesome damage with Body Slam. Ninetales hits us with Tail Whip, so it basically just forfeited its part of the fight there. Cloyster comes out, we deal just under half with Body Slam and misses. Clamp, we go for Body Slam again. Get the Paralysis, loses its turn, and bye-bye. Kadabra brings us to 91 health with Psybeam, and Body Slam is going to be a one-shot. It might be powerful, but it's super frail. Jolteon's Outlast. It does have Double Kick, does connect with it, and it crits. Again, multi-hit moves are both critical hits for Double Kick. Unfortunately, no paralysis from Body Slam, so we lose this, and our little streak ends here. That's not too bad, though. We did a lot better in this fight than I thought we would. Again, I'm pretty surprised that we're faster than Sand Slash, although that might only be because we have Koga's badge. And it's right around this time I'm thinking, okay, it's time to get rid of Bubble Beam. We can swap in Thunderbolt, because Ice Beam is going to pretty much do Bubble Beam's job going forward, and Thunderbolt's going to help out against water types. Bubble Beam was awesome for this run, but again, time to go. I say that because, touching up on a point I made at the start of the video, we want to be very careful with our TM usage. Thunderbolt might not one-shot Cloyster, but it does way more damage. And in this attempt, we make it to Jolteon with great health because Kadabra decides that going for Psybeam would just be kind of silly. Disable? Yeah, that's the move. Thankfully, this time Jolteon does not crit us with Double Kick, and Body Slam does quite a bit of damage. And as if the game heard me, Jolteon does crit with Double Kick, but thanks to our awesome health, we're down to 18 health ourselves, and we're able to finish the fight. And just gonna talk over Jesse and James and Giovanni, both are extremely easy here. One last thing about why I chose Wigglytuff over Jigglypuff, and the actual answer in addition to everything else I said at the start of the run. is because a friend wanted me to run as Wigglytuff. That's why I'm doing this, and I'm having a lot of fun with it too, I gotta say. Brock was extremely frustrating, but it was also kinda cool to come up with a strategy to defeat him, while being around his level, not needing to over-level to take him out. But after this, we're gonna start seeing the pains of Wigglytuff in the endgame here. I say that because Sabrina's next. Now, all three of her Pokemon are level 50, and all of them are faster. Thankfully, Abra misses with Flash. That would have been very annoying, and of course it's a one-shot. Kadabra brings us down to 62 health with Psychic, but it's not going to be able to endure Body Slam. As Alakazam comes out, Sabrina uses an XD, and because of that, Body Slam's dealing about half. She goes for Recover, we undo that damage with Body Slam, and we get the Paralysis, so now that we're faster, yeah, this fight is Dunyan Rings. Now, that fight could have been way harder. We certainly got lucky there, but I'm pretty confident that Blaine is going to put a stop to our progress. He leads off with Ninetales. Team is much better in yellow. Quick Attack didn't deal much damage, but Flamethrower brings us all the way to 77. We have about a third of our health left as we take out the Ninetales. Out comes Rapidash, brings us to 27 off of Takedown. Body Slam hits, we get the Paralysis. Now we are faster and have made it all the way to RK9. Turn 1 it goes for Reflect, that's bad. In Generation 1 it lasts the entire battle. We do Paralyze it, however, go for Thunderbolt, doesn't deal much more, and doubling up on Reflect, are you, Blaine? And yeah, Fire Blast easily finishes us off. Now, this fight's going to be challenging for a few reasons. Not only, we are a little bit higher level than his team. Both Ninetales and RK9 can burn us with Flamethrower and Fire Blast respectively. And as you saw in the first attempt, if RK9 sets up Reflect on turn 1, it's going to take a lot of hits to take it down. And at the end of the day, our 50 base special really shines in this fight. When it comes to fire moves, we can't take too many of them. We may have a lot of health, but with our special being as bad as it is, that's only going to take us so far. Oh, and if we get burned, our attack power is halved. If we're burned and RK9 sets up Reflect, well, it's pretty much a good night, Irene. We're going to have to take a chance with special moves and kind of hope for the best. However, this is Generation 1 with some pretty funky AI. As you can see, Ninetales uses not one, but 2 Confuse Rays. They don't stack. We do get confused again, but not a big deal for now. So as Rapidash comes out, we hit ourselves. It keeps going for Growl. We do paralyze it off a Body Slam, and we're going to set up some defense curls because we don't want to get hit by Takedown. And yeah, the glitchy badge boosts do help a little bit, but we really want the defense here. That was great paralysis luck on Rapidash, by the way. And you saw RK9's Takedown did very little damage to us. Flamethrower brings us to 16. Thankfully, no burn. We go for Body Slam, and, well, we do get the paralysis, which is nice, and RK9 goes for Reflect. We'll switch to Ice Beam to take out RK9. Good old Generation 1. Next up is Giovanni, and I can see this fight being really difficult for Wigglytuff. Dugtrio is faster, can deal a lot of damage with Earthquake, and can just straight up one-shot us with Fissure if it hits. And yeah, it does about a third of our health with Earthquake, and we don't even one-shot it with Body Slam. Thankfully, Giovanni uses a Guard Spec on a Dugtrio with about 1 hit point. Persian outspeeds, goes for Screech, which is pretty bad. Body Slam does about 80%. We get hit and crit off of Slash, which actually does not take Screech's defense drop into account. Well, that Screech did make us faster than Nidoqueen, that's kinda cool. But that Screech also softened us up for Nidoqueen's double kick to take us out. Yo, we got destroyed on the first attempt, but I kind of expect that because Giovanni's team in yellow is actually really good. A far cry from his red and blue team. But since Giovanni loves his Guard Spec, it's only going to be a matter of time before we get through this. And turns out that Body Slam has a damage range on Dugtrio. Persian lands 2 Screeches before going down. That's really bad, actually. And you can see that on full display here. Ice Beam actually does good damage to Nidoqueen, but check out Double Kick. That dealt 180 damage to us. It still kind of cracks me up that Screech made us faster, which absolutely makes the difference against Nidoking here. Ah, right on cue. Good old Guard Spec. Well, I sure do hope that we one-shot Rhydon, because it could take us out with whatever offensive move it decides to use. You know what the funny thing is about this? That special boost from Blaine, as well as the badge boost glitches from Screech, probably is what made that a one-shot. Thanks, Persian. Couldn't have done this fight without you. Alright, Rival 6 time. Let's do this. Things start off real great here, as Ice Beam is able to one-shot Sandslash. Next up is Execute. It is weak to Ice Beam, so easy one-shot. Next up is Ninetales goes for Tail Whip, whatever. Body Slam is almost a one-shot. It misses Tail Whip on turn 2, and yeah, bye-bye Ninetales. You are way tougher in Command Mission. Next up is Cloyster, but one Thunderbolt, and it's done. Next up is Kadabra. Outspeeds goes for Reflect, so Body Slam is not a one-shot. Kadabra, turn 2, ends up going for Recover. However, unfortunately for him, we deal just enough damage to where that heal and Reflect's defense boost doesn't matter. Jolteon deals 90 damage with Thunder. Body Slam deals about 3/4, it goes for Pin Missile. Alright, well, we just won. That was cool. I gotta say, this challenge has been very interesting. With how we had to start out, it kind of flipped the game's design a little bit. We had an extremely difficult beginning. After Brock, it was relatively smooth sailing till about the midway point. Got a pretty fluky victory against Koga, and Sabrina too, let's be honest. Blaine was tough, Giovanni was tough. So for the Elite Four, we just busted out some rare candies, all that good stuff. And Defense Curl was great, but we're gonna need Mimic going forward, specifically for this fight. Thunderbolt nearly one-shots Lorelei, and that brings it into Super Potion healing range, not nearly enough to protect it from the follow-up. And if we dealt that much damage to Dugong, yeah, Cloyster's an easy one-shot with Thunderbolt. Against Slowbro, we're going to use Mimic to mimic Amnesia, and then we're going to use Amnesia 3 times, and then sweep the rest of Lorelei's team with Thunderbolt. But don't forget, that counts as both offense and defense, and you can see that on full display. Slowbro's Surf did, what, like 20 damage? Man, Gen 1 Amnesia is the most busted move in Pokemon history. Can you imagine nowadays being able to cast Calm Mind twice in one turn? I love Gen 1 Mimic so much. It makes fights really interesting, honestly. Now, I did say that this fight's specifically for Mimic, but we're going to be using Mimic against Bruno as well, although, come to find out, I actually didn't need to. I go to mimic a move off of Onix. I'm thinking Slam or Dig because I was worried about Hitmonchan and Hitmonlee. So I'm like, oh yeah, they have like 115 base special, but I'm like, no, wait, it's Generation 1, so there was no need for that. Cool that we got some actual use out of Dig, though. And yeah, even with our puny 50 base special, we're able to one-shot both Hitmonchan and Hitmonlee with Ice Beam. I promise you two will be better from Gen 2 forward. Yeah, I think their base special is like 35 or something. It's just terrible. Ice Beam, of course, one-shots Onix. Now, Bruno could have gone for submission. I'm pretty confident that a critical submission would have taken us out. But yeah, Strength bringing us to 244. That's fine too, man. You do you. And as we make our way to Agatha, I'm thinking about the Gengar, and I'm like, oh yeah, in Pokemon Yellow, the first Gengar has Substitute, so we're going to mimic it. And being normal type means that we don't have to worry about Lick at all, so that's awesome. And we are able to steal Substitute, however, on turn 2, Gengar crits us with Mega Drain. Doesn't do that much damage, it is only base 40 power, and no same type. Gengar whips out a Substitute, but we destroy it real quick with Ice Beam. Thanks to Substitute, we don't get hit by Confuse Ray. Ice Beam brings it to a Sliver, Agatha does heal with a Super Potion, we go for Thunderbolt. And honestly, Gengar won't be able to break this, even with a critical Mega Drain there. In Generation 1, Gengar has pretty good special defense because of the combined stat. And we one-shot Golbat with Ice Beam. I'm surprised that we're faster. Next up is Haunter. It goes for Lick, which can't affect us. Thunderbolt deals just under half. Follows up with Lick, and Thunderbolt brings it down to deep red health. And unfortunately, Hypnosis does hit us. After healing, Haunter breaks our Substitute with Dream Eater. We're still asleep as we get confused and hit with another Dream Eater, but now we are awake. We don't hit ourselves in confusion, bring Haunter to red, and unfortunately on this turn we do hit ourselves. Agatha goes for a Super Potion, Thunderbolt brings it back down to red, Confuse Ray's a dud. It wears off, and down goes Haunter. As Arbok comes out, we're gonna go for Substitute, and good thing we did too, because it goes for Wrap, and it does last for a while, but it won't ever break our Substitute. And just as Wrap becomes undone, she swaps to Arbok, giving us a free shot. As we're chipping away at Gengar, it's not able to do too much to us. Inexplicably, Agatha once again swaps into Arbok after we've already selected our attack. With the damage we dealt, our follow-up Ice Beam takes out Arbok. Gengar goes for Dream Eater, which is fine, I guess, because we're able to finish it off with Ice Beam. That was a pretty difficult fight. I'm actually surprised that we first tried that. And now a fight I won't be surprised at winning on the first try is Lance. We have Thunderbolt for Gyarados and Ice Beam for the rest of the team. The only way I can see us getting into some kind of danger here is maybe if Aerodactyl crits us with Hyper Beam. Well, let's see if that happens. Out comes Gyarados, down goes Gyarados. Out comes the first of two. Dragonair. Ice Beam is easily able to one-shot, which means we're also going to one-shot the follow-up Dragonair. And after Dragonair number 2 comes Aerodactyl, so let's see what happens. Does go for Hyper Beam, no crit, and that did a lot less damage than I thought it would. So here, have a Thunderbolt. And we've already won the fight because, I mean, yeah, Dragonite's a thing, but 4 times weak to Ice Beam, yeah, bye-bye. And gotta say, pretty impressed that Wigglytuff made it to the champion on its first try. But this is still going to be a pretty difficult fight. Let's see if we can maintain this streak here. Now, just like every fight from Silph Co onward, the rival does lead off with Sand Slash, and we should outspeed, and we should one-shot with Ice Beam. Well, we do outspeed, awesome, and we do one-shot, excellent. Well, next up's Alakazam, and I swear I will be so cross if you use Kinesis. Full health recovers fine too. Not the strategy I would use, but I'm not the Pokemon champion yet. As Executor comes out, however, we deal about half with Ice Beam, and Stomp is looking to deal some pretty good damage there. Or not. Cool. We just missed the range on Ice Beam, leaving Executor with a Sliver, and we get hit by Hypnosis. Oh boy. After one Stomp, we do wake up, which is nice. However, we do get crit by Stomp before taking this one down, so we are halfway done with the team. Out comes Cloyster, but one Thunderbolt's all she wrote. Ninetales hits us with Quick Attack and Tail Whip before going down to 2 Body Slams. As Jolteon comes out, it goes for Thunder Wave, so there's a 1 in 4 chance we can lose our turn. Wow, Body Slam was almost a one-shot. Full Restore, lose turn to Paralysis, we eat a Quick Attack. Take another Quick Attack, we lose our turn again. We get crit by a 4-hit Pin Missile, but we break through Paralysis and take down the Jolteon. Wow, that was awesome. Not only did we beat all 5 of these trainers on our first try, but we did so without saving between members. That was pretty sweet. Man, what an interesting run that was. It's crazy to me to think that Brock was the hardest fight this entire run. I mean, again, Blaine was difficult. Giovanni was difficult. We probably should have lost more against both of them. Agatha was pretty hard. The Silph Co rival gave us a bit of trouble, so yeah, really fun. And starting with our next upload, we're going to be introducing a series onto this channel here. I've got quite the backlog on standby already, and I'm looking forward to uploading these bad boys. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you had as much fun as I did, and I will see you at the next episode.